Hey guys, Stephanie with AmericanMuscle.com here with an overview and install of this Roush Cut and Clamp Resonator Delete X-Pipe available for 2015 and up GT Mustangs. In this video we're going to be talking about a few things, including the sound of this X-Pipe and the install. I'll talk more about this later, but the install for this is going to be a 2 out of 3 wrenches since you will need a cut. This Resonator Delete X-Pipe from Roush is going to replace the factory resonator that's restricting to the new GT. It's going to be a good option for someone that's looking for a stainless steel mid-pipe that's going to open up a good amount of sound easily and quickly. Swapping out the Resonator style mid-pipe for a traditional style mid-pipe like this X-Pipe is a way to get around having to purchase an entirely new exhaust system in order to make a big change in the tone of the exhaust. The factory Resonator style mid-pipe is basically another muffler on the S550 GT that muffles sound and power. So by eliminating this muffler, or the Resonator style mid-pipe, and replacing it with a standard type of mid-pipe that's free-flowing like this X-Pipe, you're getting rid of a bottleneck and you can expect a good amount more volume from the exhaust, even without changing the factory axle back or any other components. This X-Pipe does reuse the factory cats, so you're still going to be smog legal and still pass emissions, and get the change in sound that I've talked about, so that should give you a good idea of just how restrictive the factory mid-pipe is. This is stainless steel X-Pipe, and material is something that you should always consider when you're shopping for exhaust. So the material of the mid-pipe is really going to drive the price point, and this X-Pipe being stainless steel is going to drive up the price point a touch. But stainless steel does have some upsides to it. This type of material is going to last much longer and have much better corrosion resistance than other materials like aluminized tubing. But if material and lifespan aren't something that you're concerned about, or you live on the West Coast, or your car isn't a daily, then it may not be a big deal to you. If you're looking for a long-lasting system that can handle the weather, you're better off shopping for something made with this type of material. This is a cut and clamp mid-pipe, which means that you cut out and remove your factory resonator and clamp the X-Pipe into place. That's how you're able to reuse your stock cats, but it also means that you can pair it with your stock mufflers, or you can run it with an aftermarket axle back. So no matter what axle back you have, this X-Pipe will work for you, and either way, you'll still maintain the use of the stock cats, and you'll still have an improvement in sound. As far as sound goes, this is an X-Pipe, and like a typical X-Pipe, you can expect more of a raspier tone from your exhaust and more volume. If you want more of a deeper note as opposed to the raspy sound, you should stick with an H-Pipe setup instead. And there are a few cut and clamp H-Pipes that are currently available. H-Pipes tend to be a little deeper sounding, while X-Pipes produce a bit more volume with that raspy note. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the loudest, and keeping in mind that you're still going to have your stock cats and axle back, I'd rate this X-Pipe as a 2. Of course, if you ever change your axle back, or even your headers for that matter, the X-Pipe is going to change in sound and volume, so just keep that in mind. Depending on which axle back you end up going with, you could be looking at more of a 3 or 4 on the loudness meter. So if you don't want a system that's too loud, just keep in mind this mid-pipe when you're shopping for other components. Another thing to mention here is that a great side effect of replacing that resonator with an X-Pipe is dropping a good amount of weight. The factory resonator adds some pounds to the S550, so by replacing it with a simple X-Pipe, you're going to be dropping about 12 pounds, which is just another little plus here. As far as price goes with this X-Pipe, you're looking at spending between $200 and $300 for it. Now this is one of the more expensive options out there, so there are other X-Pipes that are available in other brands, other materials, and at other price points if you want to shop around for something else. Either way, swapping your factory resonator out for an aftermarket X-Pipe is a fast and easy way to totally change your exhaust note. As for the install, like the name suggests, there will be some cutting involved, but nothing too difficult. If you Take your time, it's going to take about 2 hours to complete, maybe less, and I'm going to call it a 2 out of 3 wrenches in the difficulty meter, but mainly just because of the cutting that's involved. As usual, a lift would certainly make the install easier, and you will need something to cut your exhaust with, so keep that in mind before you start the install. The X-Pipe does come with brand new clamps for the rear. You'll reuse the factory front clamps, but you always have the option of clamping the front and welding in the rear of the pipe if you want, but that's up to you or your shop. A lot of people like welding in the rear better, but that's not something that you have to do. So wrapping this up here, this is a stainless steel Resonator Delete X-Pipe that can work with either the factory axle back or an aftermarket one. It also works with the factory cats, and it's going to free up some sound and volume from the GT. It's a great way to inexpensively change your exhaust note, and as always, you can check it out more online for yourself. And for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.